Again, you're going to do cloud recording.
Yeah.
Okay. Here comes the slate.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Tija. Welcome, everyone. Tija Bell, guitarist extraordinaire. Thank you, Tija. And Sensei will be with us in a minute or two. I know he feels, I talked to him yesterday, and he is hoping that to dialogue a little bit with people about the aftermath, if you will, their reactions, how they played with the topics we talked about 2 weeks ago, the bigger picture, where he tried to integrate so many large themes he's covered over the last month or 3 years, whichever comes first. And so very much like to encourage people who don't normally talk to unmute and ask a question or share an impression. This really helps Sensei. Sparks off of people's questions and people's comments. And those of you who ask the question get some direct feedback by Sensei, and the rest of us get to learn by watching and listening. And, you know, I'm still practicing with Sensei weekly in Mountain View. And he likes, as always, to call people out and say, here, grab me. And then you can't do it all of a sudden, and it doesn't work. And whatever you think you're doing isn't it. And for the person out in the middle, it's sometimes pretty terrifying, but for the rest of us, it's very instructional, very helpful to see the things that he doesn't accept, or the way he cajoles people to dig deeper. And so, you know, this is a video conference online virtual studio. We're trying to create a more beautiful world. And so please participate and join in. Excuse me. And I see we're up to 16. I think Sensei's
well said, Lauren.
Well, thank you, Steve. You're one of the people that often speak up.
Yeah, no, but you really were very good at introducing this whole dynamic today. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Hello, Justin. Justin's another one that often speaks up, and often very insightful about how you actually put this stuff in practice with your clients. I don't know if you call them patients or clients. And, you know, dealing with real people with real world, you know, situations. And I always find it very, like I said, insightful, Justin. So appreciate it. But really going to urge other people who don't always speak to speak up. All right. And so we're going along here pretty well. Danny, nice to see you. And Mark, I see you coming in from Mark's iPhone. And Chris from New Zealand. Very good. Hello, everyone. I hope that this twice a month schedule, the first Friday and the third Friday of each month, is going to work for everyone. It's we're kind of experimenting with a summer schedule here. Winter in New Zealand, but what can I do? Hello, Roy. Okay. Tija, could you give us another tune while we wait for Sensei to come in?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tija. Tija Bell, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a round warm hand of applause for Tija Bell. And Ken, I believe Sensei is ready. If you want to drop us out of whatever mode this is and spotlight Sensei, I believe he's ready to appear.
Oh, here I is.
Good evening, Sensei.
Good evening. Hi, everybody. Okay. We'll get to this in a bit. Anything from that big layout that we did last time? Do you remember what we did? Any carryovers from that? Or whatever it was we did, remind me.
The big picture, the big picture.
That was the name of it. What do we do?
You know, Sensei, we talked about this and that. People raised questions or comments, and you took it from there. But, you know, I didn't speak up during last session, but one of the things that really struck me was how you articulated the interaction or the of the vortex of creation spiraling always inward towards denser, more manifest, and its echo or its companion that spirals outward in sort of self-development and finer energies. And
Finer territory, yeah.
yeah, you really made that more clear for me.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
I think in many ways, doesn't that sense of it facilitate? You know, I'm getting a scrunch today, but if I don't freak out here and be careful, then I get to ride this part of it back. Easy, settle, there's more room, easy the lesser identity, easy Bobby, and there's a Robert, easy Robert, and there's a Nadeau kind of thing. So that spiral in, spiral back can be utilized. It should potentially facilitate is what I'm hearing. I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is Nancy.
Nancy.
Hi.
Hey.
Yeah, just to get on what you said, Lauren. I came away with some understandings in that same direction, that when that vortex is spiraling inward, I like what you said, Sensei, about how if it went any farther, we could turn into a rock.
Yeah.
Sometimes life feels like I'm bumping into a rock. So our lesson last week, the other week, was really helpful because I realized we're designed to be there, and we're designed to hang in there, in a sense, go through the physical to meet it and then go through it, not to be upset or blocked by it.
Yeah, good, because that's going to be a main comment I wanted to make on this pattern tonight, that I think there's a possibility of losing the piece that we call character in his situation, character in his realm, character in his world, whatever, but character, okay? That I don't want to lose that piece because it's one of the big pieces of creation. You see? So for me, spiritual people would say, oh no, the body is a spirit, self, whatever, is everything. Yeah, that's a big piece. But the continuation of this character's development, that's what I call Bobby Robert Nadeau. One day we'll cover continuing into archetypes following Bobby Robert Nadeau, and then eventually archetypes at their proper level. That's a very important piece that I think we can miss. Okay. So for example, somebody does the process, they start with a character and they settle and do all their basics. And then they get into a nicer zone, whatever the vibe is, a nicer zone. And then they get into, hopefully, we've talked about self. Okay. I see Amy's on. I'll check back with her in a second. Amy Oakland. And I think, for example, in touching the self, it's like, oh my God, this is really important. You're experiencing self. Wow. And it sounds like I'm asking you now, come back to your human beingness, and they don't want to do that. Why should I go back to this when I've got this self? Okay. But again, the pieces, the continuation of the development of the character also has to be there. If we say, oh, I don't do any more character, I'm just going to do self. Well, you can't do the whole thing because a major piece is missing. It's like trying to do the whole thing without qualities, and trying to do the whole thing without more space, or come around the other way, trying to do the whole thing without a self. It's not going to work. There are main pieces, and what I call the character, which we call character line, the character piece, is critical. Did I almost say that okay? So thank you for bringing up that.
Thank you.
Excuse me, get something stuck here. Okay. Anything from the big layout before we move into this stuff here tonight? Something caught your attention, something confused you, something you've been playing with that seems to be laying out?
Sensei Chris from New Zealand.
Hey, Chris.
I last week I wasn't tuned in, but I watched the YouTube, which is great. Thank you. I love the analogy with the two belts intertwined, the brown belt and the white belt wrapped up tightly and unraveling. That really resonated. That it is an unwinding that settling process.
Yeah, doesn't that fit in with the vortex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it can get real tight in there. Well, there's a lot of nice stuff, but it's so tight you can't feel it. You got to unwind it a bit. Yeah, so that Robert can show, or self, a little more advanced self can show, or that, oh, there's much more space can show. Oh my God, there are beautiful qualities that are really pure can show. But at the tightest, hard pressed. So the easy settling, opening, unwinding, yes, is playing with that vortex, yeah? It's a
I thought it
good,
was amazing. That was a
Yeah, it's a good,
great analogy.
good sense for a lot of people, can help a lot of people, that sense of it again.
Yeah,
Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
Chris, you still in Rotorua?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Dojo going along okay there?
It's just ticking along. Just we've got our little core, which stays strong. A few come and go. A few more kids, which is good. So yeah, we're trucking along.
Good. Okay. All right. Are we ready for this here yet? Anybody, anything before I confuse myself and confuse you with this piece?
Sensei, this is Justin. Hi, everybody. There's a couple of things that I would like to share, but maybe I'll save one for later. It's less relevant to what you brought up the last time we met. But since then, my wife and I have had a chance to go to Nicaragua for a week. We spent a week traveling around the country, and if you guys know or don't know, it's a third world country. So there's a lot of difficulty, lack of opportunity, and many other issues, especially within the towns that you go through. Now, outside of the towns, there are pristine lagoons and volcanoes and waterfalls and all that great stuff. But this vortex idea was very apparent there, because the closer you got to these towns, the more you'd see, people throwing trash out their window, or, cutting each other off in traffic, and there are dogs and buses and motorcycles everywhere. And the law of the jungle is really evident there. And just because there is the ability to go finer, and in some places that's there, but things are so tightly wrapped up that there's a lack of awareness of what's even possible. And it's palpable. And so I was just kind of going through the week, enjoying too, but observing also this phenomenon at work of tighter, denser to finer, doing what I could to stay clear and as fine and available as I could, and just witnessing all the stuff that was going on there. And we take a lot for granted. I take a lot for granted being in Miami, that throughout so much of the world is very, very tight, dense. The heavies, as you call them, Sensei, was really kind of a phenomenon there. So what we talked about last time really struck a chord, because I was seeing it in action.
Being it, yeah.
There, being in it, yeah. And then whatever else I would share has nothing to do with that. So I'll table that other thing for right now. But thank you for that, because it was top of mind when we traveled over there last week. So that's what I want to share. So thanks for that.
Thank you. Okay. I think I'll start with the centered styles. This is old hat, or the one I've presented quite often, because I'm sort of a centered first major kind of guy. This will be the center circle piece, but let's stay with the centered. Okay, what I'm trying to do here is I picked up a little trick with my up and down beats. That was one of my earlier practices I picked up from O-Sensei. Energy spiraling up, energies reversing, spiraling down. And the harmony of those two that he would call, using Firewater, he would call steam. So there was a click steam sense. And as I played with that, lo and behold, there was a sense of steam. Okay. But I picked up a little trick. I added an extra beat or half beat to this. So up and down a couple of times, just to stabilize or take advantage of the harmony when you think you had a harmonious place. Next beat, up and down a bit deeper, and then the up part, stopping halfway, say it on core level, hada level, whatever. Boom. There is the core energy field and the character, or vice versa, the character with experiencing this core energy field. So by adding that extra half beat or beat, whatever you want to call it, could somebody feel it much stronger than before. I thought, well, that's a simple thing, just to add an extra beat with a little extra emphasis, and to get that much feeling of both the radiation of a core, a ball of something glowing, radiating, and the actual fuller feeling of the character. So I wanted to introduce that extra beat thing. I think we call that a feeling core character with an extra half beat or beat, whichever way you want to call it. You'll come up with your own words as we play. Also, in doing this, I want to, again, I mentioned it before with Nancy, I believe, I want to emphasize the importance of the character, because I think potentially he gets lost along the way. Where you start with character and character development, and Bobby to a Robert, but eventually if you're playing with meditating or doing any process work at all, boom, there's larger space sense, a self. Eventually, oh my God, self. I'm feeling myself as self. I am self. Okay, cool, great, fantastic. But the day after tomorrow, it may say, today is not a self day. Today is a character day. Are you almost following me? Okay. So I want to pick up on Oakland Amy. Amy, you on?
I am, yes.
Yeah. For example, so you really like self, yeah?
Yes.
You thought that was, oh, wow, self, wow. But a month later, something came up. I'm not strong enough. I got my, you don't call them barbells. What do you call them?
Kettlebells.
Kettlebells. There we go.
Kettlebells.
I've got my kettlebells, but I don't feel very strong. That is time for a character major time. Okay. Yeah. Okay, and I told you dig deeper and I'm working that line, but using that as an example for the folks, that when something lays out, that's cool. When self lays out, that's cool, but it's not going to be, unless you really glom onto it, potentially it's not going to be self every day. If it's kind of open, some other days will be a character day. Some other days will be, well, here's the qualities, some of the qualities that exist. Look at the beauty, look at the harmony, look at the power, look at the love, whatever. Okay. So I think we've said this before. Be careful, because you had a good day yesterday. So today you're going to sit in your sitting room or on your porch, whatever you do, and try to repeat yesterday. And sometimes it works. You can stay on it for a while, a week or whatever. But some days you're trying for that good experience you had yesterday and you can't get there. Oh, it's not its day. Okay. Hi, what's up today? I learned to do things like that. Even though I had a great session about something yesterday, the next day was to be like, what's proper today? What's going to happen in my world? And what kind of character is going to be there for that, or something like that? I'd leave it open. Yeah.
It's interesting that you say that, because just yesterday, working this process, I got this unexpected insight. I kind of had let it go. Like, okay, I've been working this process, feeling it, but I let it go. And I was coaching someone, and it kind of opened up something new. And I'm like, oh, that's what that is. So letting it go sometimes opens up new insights.
So it didn't even happen.
Other stuff.
So it didn't even happen at that moment. It happened at a little bit later time.
Yeah.
Could I say it
with
that way?
someone, right? Just like
Yeah,
it wasn't
but there it was. Yeah, there it was. Whoa.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. See, Sensei tried to explain that with the story about the fight with the naval captain. Right, as a naval captain, sound like, because the guy couldn't, in his I think of him at that fight as being sort of invisible, just my words here. And the guy couldn't hit him. Here's a top of the line swinger, and he can't hit him. And since it said he's one of the best. And those things, I was just walking around and okay. So there was that piece. Let's say the character piece. Then after a while, he goes to the well, and I'm going to make this up because I don't know. Say, gee, what was that all about, or something? At which time it says, well, here's the world you were in, and the golden vapors world. So instead of showing both at the same time or experiencing both at the same time, it was one major and then a gap in time and another major. And he did point that out to me, that there was a gap in time, that it gapped instead of doing the normal character to situation to character. It did one full one and then showed what the other piece was at a different time at the well. If that means anything to anybody. Yeah. Okay, so where are we? The importance of character as being one of the main pieces. Okay. So one problem the centered types might go to is they stay with the heavier form, the heavier of character for a bit longer. That's their basic. Okay. But if they meditate or do some process work, then they bump into something like a more spaced self. Okay. And it's so wow. It's so wow. That the idea of feeling a character again is like, I want to feel this forever. I don't want to ever feel a body again. But a body is a main piece. A character is a main piece. We start with body. It's more than that. Okay. But the body, situation, body, that's the beginning of the character run. And it goes the whole distance from heavier to finer to a more original to eventually the original beginnings of things. So we can't not have that, a place for that piece in our practice. It can't just be space, or self. Didn't we talk, Tija, maybe Noah, didn't we talk, somebody brought up some teacher who just majored in self. He got to be fairly well known. I'm sure he's doing some cool stuff. But then something began, his students weren't coming along well. It began to poop out somehow. There was like nobody home, I would say. Self, but there was a type of non-functioning or something. Somebody, Artesia or Noah, whoever I was talking to about that.
Noah, do you remember? I don't remember exactly which teacher.
Yeah, I believe I do. Without mentioning his name.
Yes, we don't want to mention names here.
He regarded the energies of creation. He actually called them garbage. And so his approach to training cut his students off from the energies of creation. And therefore, how could you have a character without that?
Yeah.
And not only did they start to have problems, but he started to have problems that eventually died a rather horrible death from some form of cancer that kind of ate his body.
Okay, but we're all going to die. Don't go there, people. I don't want to say, well, no, it's kind of aware, but he died of whatever smokers get. I'm heading that way. Screw you. I like to smoke. Anyway. So let's not go into, was he spiritual? What age did he die at? Let's not use that. We're all going to die. Some earlier than others. Big deal. When your time is up, it's up. Anyway, sorry about that. Jump in, but okay. All right, let's, I'm going to stand. We're going to do a bit of this centered process type. Is the other camera on now, Brett? Okay. Are you all gonna follow me here, standing?
We have followed you.
Okay. So energies flow up through the system, just they flow up and down. Okay. But here, energies are flowing up, and I use the body presence as a location. They flow up through the body and down. Now there's an attempt at harmony here. So what a sensei would call fire up, water down. Okay. And you're playing with those beats, you can feel when they're more in harmony. Okay. So the amount of heat or fire sense I get from the fire up should be equal to the amount of water coming down after a bit. Fire up, water down. Easy, easy. In that case, for example, I thought my fire up was a little fuller and my water down came back down a little fast. So I wouldn't be satisfied with the balance of that yet. You can't have one on the other end. The balance doesn't feel right, does it? Anyway, so how many times you do a basic beat? Up to you. At least a few, okay? Right? Then this thing I'm adding on. So up and down, a few, whatever. And then on the next one, up and down deeper. And from that deeper pool, my words, boom, coming up to halfway to the core. Core. Now, either I work the core as being an energy glow thing and the character with this core character feeling itself as character, or vice versa, character with this glowing core. Find whichever's comfortable for you. Core first or character first. I prefer core first. No big deal, yeah? My preference. When Osensei did this in the fire water, it would be a fire spiraling upwards, reverse direction water spiraling downwards. Okay, that was the pattern I got from him. You could use whatever. Fire water is a little esoteric. Okay, I kind of like it, or Sensei liked it, but it's a little esoteric. It could be positive forces up, receptive forces down, or this is a he force up, this is the she force down, or whatever it is for you guys. I was looking at the wrong camera here. For you guys, okay? But you get the sense of it. You can change the words, the sense of it, as long as it's sort of based on this pattern, yeah? The pattern is a thing. What do you say, he, she, or a positive receptive, or a fire or water? Come on. If you're involved in the actual experience of this, whatever, okay? So beat, a little deeper. Now this one, hit, beats up to halfway, core. And the character that's there, okay? And I'll remind the more center types like me, don't forget you're in a situation or world, okay? Don't forget to acknowledge at least the circle that you're in. We're majoring in center, but don't forget to acknowledge the circle, okay? One more. Beat up, a beat down. We'll do a few of those. And then beat up, beat down, and on this one, deeper, and boom, beating back up to the halfway point of core, character, core. Okay. a simple check, for example, might be the walking under pressure. We don't have to do it, but that one where somebody here, your check is this one that you just did. How does it walk under pressure? It could be a reference. And I'm walking under pressure. Then I think, no, you haven't done what we're doing. There's no core character. Hello. There's no beingness there. Nobody's home. Okay. Okay, let me sit. Okay, so I believe that's an old standby practice. We probably have touched on it more than once in the last 3 years, but I wanted to add that extra balance, harmony beat. And then when it feels more balanced, one more extra depth, boom, that comes up to a core level, hara level, whatever. There's a core glowing and a character feeling and a reminder, and someplace in there, acknowledge the world you're in. Was that said okay? You tell me, I don't know. Help. Do you follow what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to say? Anybody?
Yeah, that sounded clear. Really focusing on energizing the core, not doing a complete kind of more larger scope of the exercise, but really focusing on developing the core. Activating maybe is a better than developing.
Yeah, I like activating. Yeah, I just found that extra half beat or whatever you want to call that extra beat there, the way we did it a bit deeper and boom, up to halfway, activation right there. I just got a lot out of it. Remember, I've been doing up and down for a long time, but when I played with that extra weight, that way, like, whoa, this is a bit more. The core was more. The character was fuller, faster. Yeah, so I thought I'd pass that on to you.
Yeah, I was actually I discovered that on my own, and I played with a little bit, and what I experienced was more power. The power of it surprised me, so.
Yeah. Yeah, using the core for reference, it's a very alive ball of energy, let's say. Okay. And we've seen that before. I remember in dogs or dog fighting, and I read some of the old books on that stuff because I was into Staffordshire Terriers. They had words for dogs that had this inner and some dogs had it a bunch, and other dogs didn't have, even though they were pit dogs, they didn't have it. Okay, so it'd even be a few chicken or soft touch pit dogs because they didn't have this thing. So that thing was mentioned quite a lot. I forget what words the dog people use with that, but boom, they probably use it with race horses too. I don't know. They might throw out, they might say like, oh, that horse has heart, but I don't think they use the word heart. But this extra something, this extra boom, I'm going to win this race. I'm going to run my fastest, the horse says about himself.
Yeah, I think it's really important. What I experienced was really important in terms of setting my intent. That setting your intent isn't something that you do in your head necessarily. It's something that happens through that core that emanates out with that power. That's.
I might say it as the character's core power. Anyway, so this is Florida Amy I'm talking to. So we had a little phone conversation. And what I was trying to get across was the importance, even in the ocean of abundance. So you love self along the way, as your system said, by the way, there's this beautiful quality called abundance. Beautiful. Two great pieces were there. But there's another piece called the character in the world of abundance. And that's an important piece. And that's what I was trying to get across on the phone. It's a little hard sometimes, but that's the piece I was trying to get across. Now, it could be difficult because in feeling self and this beautiful sense of abundance, my God, to say, well, okay, let's come back to what seems like a human being and do this. I don't want to go back to a human being. I'm a self and it's abundant. So I think that's what I'm trying to bring up. I don't want you to lose this piece. Okay? It's a very important piece that a lot of meditators miss because they're seem like a vaster territory, a finer humming territory, a self-experiencing self, got all these beautiful things. But this critical addition, yes, this is beautiful. Now, who am I? The character. Okay. Did I say that right, people? Amy, do with it what you will, but talking to the group now. Did that come across right?
I think you said it right, Sensei. It's a matter of finding some balance from that greater spacious sense of self, and human life and human being.
The balance of the character in that.
Yes.
It's an important piece.
Yeah.
It needs a turn sometime along the way. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's one that often gets, I know for say, Buddhist meditators, for instance, not so much the Taoists, but the Buddhists, they have this thing in the characteristics where they think, well, no self, so I shouldn't have a self. It's a misunderstanding, of course, and it's kind of an elementary misunderstanding, but it sometimes stays around a little bit, and so there's no real development of the character.
Yeah, nobody's home a certain way.
In
I think how we've talked about it.
That's one way of thinking, for sure. Yeah. It's an important aspect.
They're into other pieces, and they don't realize this is a piece and work it a bit, give it its turn. And after a bit, you see them that they're wow, but there ain't nobody home. They don't function or something.
Well, the refinement of some of the, I don't know what they might consider, what we could consider, higher qualities or higher states of mind, but it's still, it's kind of separate. You separate yourself and maybe even prefer it after a while. So, but it's not integrated. It's not integrated into this life.
The whole thing overlays people.
Yes, it does.
It all overlays. Okay, they have to be integrated to go the distance properly.
Yeah, integration is the word here. I think that you're talking about when you're talking about balance. It's the balance of the character inside these beats that you're.
Yeah, one of the main pieces. Yeah, so wherever you place them, yeah.
There it is.
So let's say as things open up and you're using space, more space. Cool. As space opens, oh, wait a minute, there's a self here. Now it's shifted to the self that's there. Self isn't the space. Space is space. Self is self. Shift again. Oh, who am I? Oh, there's a character here at this level. I ain't Bobby anymore, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, character and his sense of the world. That's a piece. Are you people following this? Because this is good, more than a basic. What would you call this, Teja?
I call this essential. I call this really essential and foundational understanding. Understand, because you have to have some understanding of this. Otherwise, it will. You can't get into the experience of it. Yeah. And so that's why I say,
And the whole trip of creation, one of the reasons was to experience it. So that on the finish of it, let's say, now you're getting past my pay scale here, but on the finish of it, you've experienced your style the totality of creation. You know who you are, which was the name of the game. We'll lay this creation out. Now you pick your style of how you want to get in there. Warrior, musician, healer, whatever. Pick your style. Pick your colors. And we did. And we got in, but we made a little screw up. But anyway, we got involved and got caught up in the vortex, unfortunately. So here we are being, but you're still on that setup. You still have your style. You still have qualities that are close to you. Okay.
Perhaps one of the misunderstandings that happened since the 60s with some of the gurus and some of the spiritual things is you shouldn't have an ego, right?
I thought it was sex. Is that I misunderstand in the
You missed
80s?
that one.
That was the other sect viewer.
That's it. But yeah, so but when people try not to have egos, they're just dumbing down their
Confusion of words. Yeah.
it's
I won't be anybody. I'll be spiritual.
Yeah, be spiritual, and
But I'm nobody, but I'm spiritual. Yeah.
that's right. So it's been a major misunderstanding, and that's why this aspect that you bring in of the big four there with self and space and character and the design, the character is like, well, they are all essential, but this is one that doesn't get emphasized, that in my view, and I know in yours and others here.
But that's what I don't want you people to lose the importance of that piece, and that it will want to turn, be prepared to give it a turn, practice with that one now and then, so you're more familiar with that piece. Character in a situation, a character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially as a human being, because it's sort of on you every day. Every day a situation changes, you have to change.
Yes.
The thing, but it doesn't stop at human being. It continues and continues and continues. Now, some of the human beings who are starting to meditate and do process stuff might say, "Oh, this is so fine. I don't have to worry about that." Situation, character, because I'm this, I'm that. No, it's a misunderstanding. It's still going on at that level.
Mm-hmm.
That level. Yeah.
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 Yeah, thanks for that. It's important to emphasize that.
Yeah.
I concur.
So.
Sensei, Danny here.
Danny there?
Danny here from New Zealand.
Yeah. Gotcha, Danny.
Well, the matter of the character, I'd say I would be dead by now. And I'll briefly explain. When you coached me through to get to know the healing self of me and bring that into play with the processes that I had to go through. And you coached me on different times to get this. And finally, somehow I made a good contact with my healing self, or the self of healing. Now, and what I did, I ran the character of me doing that, ran everything through the healing self, everything, the drugs they gave me, everything. And they eventually gave me a drug because I was going to die. And running that, which was affecting my immune system to fight the cancer I had, seemed to give it an edge, because everybody had said to me, all the oncologists, doctors, radiation people, this was a miracle.
Should be.
We didn't expect this to happen.
You're an Aikido person. It should be.
Sure. But what I'm
being an Aikido person who knows the patterns.
Yeah. And that character, who at the beginning with the self was a novice, with the healing self, was quite a novice. And I've been called upon in recent times to work that way again. And I noted that the character had grown. It wasn't a novice anymore. it knew what to do. It was assured. And so, yeah, just reinforcing for me how the character of a situation can grow and become very adept at the requirements.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been reinforced to me so many times. Oh, we didn't really expect this to happen.
Yeah.
We were going to chop your leg off at my up at the thigh. I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's what they were going to do next if it didn't work, and it worked. And I've had a recent scan which said there's absolutely no cancer in my leg, none. It's all gone.
Yeah.
You have a bit of cancer, but I've got the tools that I'm familiar with to carry on supporting the healing of my body. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let me shift to Susan, who had our Susan, Susan, you on? She's up in the mountains someplace. Yeah,
She's here tonight, Sensei.
Yeah,
Stand
there
by.
she is. She's slow. It's
I'm
like,
here.
there you are. Anyway, so
I'm here.
she had a knee replacement. Not a little thing for the knee, but a knee replacement. It's more major. And last week, and a physical therapist picked her up because they had to take her in to check something. And what she say, she bip bop out of the house, and he was shocked that she was bip bopping out of the house. She had a cane, but she wasn't working the cane. She bip bop out of the house, and he was like shocked. And he's in the business, and he was shocked about that. When she got to the medical wherever that they knew her because she's worked there or works there, and she bopped in, and they were shocked that she was bopping in. And it's like, in a certain way, it should be so. Should be so. When you know how, so I think we decided, Susan and I, that the best healing form was an energy body fuller, okay, that radiated through the fullness of the physical body. So she'd be, so the whole system was being affected by this, not just the knee, but the whole system. Okay. Somebody wanted to be fancier and have a self there first, radiating through the finer energy bodies, continuing the radiation, continuing through the physical body. That'd be fine too. But it seemed like, Susan, you didn't need to go that far with this, that just the energy body seems to be doing it. Am I correct?
So far, yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So bip bop along there. Okay. We should talk a bit about this style here. We talked about centered people and circular people. So I'm sort of talking to circular types here a bit, or a lot. And we'll stand out here again. Oopa. Okay. Circular types. What I understand is circular types, the sense of more space, and the space and self are real buddies. I mean, everything overlays, but certain things overlay better with. So apparently space and self have a real affinity for each other. Okay. So the circular types come in, fair space, and some self that's there, okay? I'm a little worried sometimes that they confuse self-take on things as being the character. There's a body there, or they wouldn't be here, right? But you say the character experiencing, and I'm worried sometimes that the self thing, yes, there's a body experiencing. It's not the actual body experiencing the fullness of what I want. So for those of you who are circular types, and I've been on your case, that's what we're talking about. Okay. But it's getting clearer now. Maybe we can say it better. Alan, you on? Alan, San
He's
Francisco.
here, Sensei, stand by.
I saw his
He's
name.
here, but he's muted.
He's muted. Okay. I don't know if he can hear me. If he mutes, he can hear me though, can he? Yeah. Alan, San Francisco. Unmute. I know, I was just going to mention he's a circular type, and I was going to try to say things better because I historically didn't say it as well as I could have. Now we're getting better understanding some of these things. Anyway, okay, circular type. Good expanse because it's space, self. Now with these beats, and on this one I use an out and in and out beat. Okay, in this space, back in and out. Okay, also you could overlay that with my potted plant format. This is the pot and all the nutrients that are there, and I'm aware of them. Okay. Now, as we get a harmony with the in and out beats or out and in beats, your call. Someplace in there, again, a harmony. And on one of the beats, now we go, okay, now this beat, boom. A chord character, feeling, experiencing himself. Okay. Now, again, the mind types, careful. Oh, yeah, I know, I'm aware. Okay, it's a proclivity because of this major of self-space. Okay. But in a lot of cases, the fullness of the character is missed. Okay. So this is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get this character a bit better in the circular style. Okay, so beats in and out, the harmony of those beats, and you have to hang out till you get a feeling, oh, that's pretty harmonious, that feels pretty balanced, okay? And then on the last beat, say, now this beat, boom, is just for the core and the character. Core and character, feeling. And here's where it would be good, I think more especially for all types, but more especially for circular type, to have some check like the walk under pressure, to make sure it's not just, oh yeah, I'm aware. I understand walking better. I understand the importance of walking better. Like, God damn it, walk! As a full character is what I'm trying to bring out more. Okay? So that's that pattern. If it catches your attention, play with it. Ooba. Okay. So we have our favorites. Oh, Sensei would say he still likes his favorite centered style first, but he's comfortable. I don't know the words. I'm comfortable with the circle of things. Okay. But within that, the centered still has a little more something to it for him because it was his first and his go-to form. But eventually we have both forms equally there. You're a centered type and a circle type and a centered type. Now, within that, you might still have a little bit of, I really like circle in my young years, or I really like center in my young years. Cool. But there'll be a place more advanced where the blend harmony, the blend, we used harmony before, the combination of this style and that style and this style is one thing. We're getting really fancy here when I talk there. Fancy level. Okay. All right. Where am I going? Oh, again, see on this one, I want to bring up the importance of character as an experience. Character, not just I'm aware of a character, but the actual character. Now, so far, I've seen a variety of which we got percentages of actual character practice. Some of that type, they're very intelligent, they're very fast, mind fast, all that. And of course, they all have a body. Now here comes the varying degrees. You have some who can walk and tie their shoelace when need be. Okay. Others at a little better level, maybe athletic. Better level, much better. The character is really more and more there. Okay, story. Takano Sensei once, he talked about mind warriors. I said, what the hell is a mind warrior? And he said, good ones were good. And when he first bumped into them as a mind warrior, he said, woo, what am I going to do with this here? So now I'd say, oh, okay, got a good sense of it. A mind warrior is a circular type that has a good character active experience to a good degree. So they major in the circle form. They're mind warriors, but the actual warrior character is there. Am I saying this right? Okay.
Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay. So that's why I'm on you, Lauren, being a circle type. I know you know about bodies and you see how they work, but give me more damn body is what I'm trying to get out of this practice. Actually practice it. It's there. It's there in the upper style. That's where a mind warrior came from. If it wasn't there, they'd be mind folks, but they couldn't be a warrior. But it's there. But I think extra practice. Okay.
So
and
the only thing I can say in my defense, Sensei, is that
you don't have to defend, but go ahead.
Is that I used to be so out there.
Yes. You didn't know you had a body. I'm surprised you could walk through the college campus. Is that what we're talking about?
I kind of floated through. And that it's only through Aikido that I have been able to cultivate a center aspect.
Yeah.
That,
look, could I say, let me jump in. Could I say the Aikido presented this piece that was there that you hadn't acknowledged, really?
Yes.
You started to get a flavor for it, and that wowed you. Yeah?
Yes, completely.
Yeah. And I just want to go a little bit more with it. And so I'm using this extra count, this beat, extra count to really help bring them into play better.
And I want to say that tonight, these two processes, I felt at the extra half beat like I had focused the energy, the flow, and it was in a sort of containment field and was much more palpable and intense.
Yeah.
You know, and it's different.
I like the word palpable. Yes. We sometimes say feeling, we sometimes say experience. Palpable is a good word here too.
Right. And so there's this flow, but the flow wants to just flow. And now suddenly focus or the extra half beat is actually very intriguing, Sensei. Thank you so much for teaching this tonight.
Yeah. If we use the flow a certain way, we could say, oh, in this beautiful flow, who am I? Bring in the character there. We've got, let's say, the flow of the situation, maybe so. And the harmony of the flow, it's really a nice flow. And that extra little piece, who am I character, with a core alive in this. That piece. Yeah. So we're gonna, I don't want to say thicken you up here, but yeah, it should begin to show more and more. You got to get some pretty fast results. Play a little bit with that. Ah, God. I think we put a bit of a dent in it. I was a little wondering, but I think so. Oh. Let me go over the old story you've heard before, but maybe with this context. Sensei was damn good at that centered style. Okay, but not quite good enough. He'd have his off days, or he called it hit and miss kind of thing. Then he bumps into Takeda, who is damn good at centered warrior. Spend some time with him. He catches on to what he's doing. He can do it. Okay. Then apparently he has a sense there's something more because he looks around for Deguchi. Okay. And he visits Deguchi. And Deguchi says, whoa, you're really a warrior, huh? Whatever. And Deguchi says, you're not here to be a super Takeda type. You've got something more than that. Okay. So Deguchi introduces him. Now, this is a big level we're talking about. The same level or same design we're working on, but a bigger level. Introduces him to the circle of things. Okay. In a bigger form because the center is so big. Sensei said it was quite confusing. And he said, if I didn't trust Deguchi, he said I would have walked because I was so good at being the Aikido or the martial artist. Okay. And so good at being centered beyond the norm. Okay. And to be introduced as other whole seeming opposite thing, he said was not easy, but he trusted Deguchi. So he hung in there. And he said Deguchi put him through all kinds of, stupid things as part of this introduction to the circle of things. Okay. Anyway, but he did say that very clearly, that if you didn't trust him, he would have been hard pressed to accept that there is a circular beat here or an in and out beat situation, world creation is part of it. If that does anything, did I say that right? I'm not sure.
Well, since it's Lauren again, this idea of the trust that developed between Onisaburo Deguchi and Morihei Ueshiba is really one that I don't think many people have explored, because in the history, it's kind of obvious now that you mention this, all right? Because he followed him to Mongolia and threw his life into, his Onisaburo's hands and almost got themselves killed on it, and still trusted him.
And was going to stay there at that quote ashram, whatever it's called. And Deguchi said, no, it's time to get out. You've got it. Go ye and be Ueshiba, And that's when he went to the Tokyo and the generals and the admirals and the who's-its and the what's-its. Yeah.
But the essentialness of trust in the process, to go from an overly centered person to a more balanced person, to go from a more overly, ethereal person to one with more center, requires a trust in the path, or trust in the teacher, or trust in the feedback that you're getting from the process, don't you think? Yeah,
it doesn't surprise me, hasn't surprised me through the years where somebody seems to be a devotee, could I say, and they're really interested in what I do and they hang out, to reach a point where they say, fuck you. Or you're kind of cool, but I'm going over there. Where you touch something that they don't want to get into or advance along with. So that's to be expected probably from any guide or mentor or something that could happen. Did I say that right? Let me see.
Sensei Bob here.
Bob there.
The thing that extra beat, the half beat you were calling did for me in both styles is it was much faster and easier to experience my identity as the character than before.
Ah. So Mr. Noah meant something to you?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I wonder if I should have added, I'm not sure, I haven't checked it out yet, but on the circle style, if we shouldn't, you guys play with it, let me know. Noah's originally a circle type, Lauren circle type, Alan, San Francisco, you're a circle type. That this character beat, and now the character core, that we have a little sense of it building from up, because remember, you're very strong in awareness, you're very fast and aware. Okay. And there'd be aware, oh yeah, that. But in that awareness, you might be sort of from the top aware. So having this character develop a little bit more with under, and the centered types could do the same thing. Both types would benefit from that. But I think for the circular types, because they're of their style, that a little added when it's core character with a core, experiencing whatever words you're using, that there's a little bit of this under growth, not an awareness about it growth. So just by doing it a little more from under could facilitate that. Is that okay, Bob? Does that come across? Or
Yes,
all you circle types?
A circle type like myself, we're quick at identifying the qualities that are there, but not nearly as quick without the kind of practice you're describing at becoming the character that those qualities bring together to create.
Yeah, you see, it's a gift and a bit of a problem. So
That's right.
On either side, we have gifts and problems. I think,
So Sensei, I would say that as a circle type, it's been important for me to come up from below in the sense of coming up through the body, right? And
having the body, I use the word get mixed. I don't know circle type, but having that happen is boom, 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 boom. And then feeling, here's what I feel about myself or whatever. As opposed to, yes, I'm aware of this and I have a good map and I'm very intelligent, I'm very fast. So anything with a more up, what the hell's the word? Up creating character can hurt. I think.
yes.
Is that sort of okay?
Yes, and I think as I think Noah just said, it's really this, eventually these two combine, and you get the squared away guy.
That's an eventuality, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we've got the map, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
That's very fancy, very fancy. How I look at it, is the addition sign that Osensei used, okay? For some balance, harmony balancing, that this guy has that capability, okay?
Yes.
In his style. And lo and behold, that guy has it in his. But I think of those as one small addition sign, the other one has its small addition sign, but someplace eventually there's one big addition sign that is at a very fancy level, probably domain plus. Okay. Probably moving from domain through domain to better or more earlier. That's how I'm looking at it. So
yeah.
So in with this addition sign is again one reason I'm pushing for a better character here because that's part of the addition sign. And I'm pushing for a better character here because that one could be more easily missed in that style.
Yes.
Something like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let me see if anything in my notes here. Anybody, anything? Like skim my notes for a moment.
That's it. This is Justin.
Justin?
To borrow a few other words that have come up tonight, the experience I was having was of a more full, palpable core. The same with both the centering and the circle type.
Right. That's what I wanted to introduce tonight. Yeah.
And then activating there. A common point, they both have that full, palpable core element to the character. Then, but one that's more the centered type had I don't want to call it a masculine flavor, different than the circle type, feminine flavor. One was more ready and juicier. The other one was more kind and involved or something.
Yeah, that's why I'm a center type. See, I'm not that kind. Screw you, Pete.
I don't know. But the common point was this this full, palpable core character. Either way, that was a common point anyway, where there was an activation, again, to use words that have
both have their own addition sign that in more and more and more advanced as we continue with the journey are one big addition sign when they, I don't know the word, combine or whatever they do. Yeah, that's a major. That's a major. That's a major. Yeah. And to get what we're trying to do here by doing both of them is for a center type to get some practice as a circle type. Okay, to facilitate eventually that, whatever it is, that merging, whatever the word is, and vice versa for the other, to play with this centered type, to get a little flavor for it. Okay, not just, oh yeah, I see it on a map, I got it. No, to play, to, if I were a centered person, how would I do this up and down center and the character that's there? Or vice versa, me as a centered person, how do I do this circular style? And it took me more than a day or two to figure out a good way of doing that. It was like, you know, sort of out of my element a certain way, you know. I sometimes show that as just cutting this in half, where you've got the upper types and the center types. I sometimes do that to show a similar thing. Anyway, going out all over the place. When you said something I wanted to jump in on, I forgot what it was. That's why I jump in on your conversations, people, because by the end time you finish, I forgot what I wanted to say. And there was something there I wanted to mention. Anyway, okay. Oh, before I forget, for Aikido people in the San Francisco area, I'm teaching Sunday at the San Francisco School, our 1 o'clock to 2:30 gig. That's this Sunday. Reminder again, we're first and third Fridays. I hope that's working out for you. I'll tell you, it does give me a little more breathing room. A lot of things are going on, a lot of stuff unfolding. So I really nice to have that extra time in there. What? There's something floating around. What is it? Somebody, you got something? Well, something clarifies here for me.
Sensei, Chris from New Zealand. Coming from the half beat, traveling back through the beat, the character for me was, you know, it built it at half, but then dragging through was more, the experience was definitely a lot fuller as well. So not just stopping at the beat, but letting the character travel with the rest of the beat. It really gave it some real gusto.
Substance, could we say?
Yeah, substance. So
Yeah.
they're definitely through the center one. They obviously the circle one, the substance was more sensing. There's more spatial awareness, I guess. There was a real aliveness, but yeah, would be a nicer word.
That's again why some simple check after doing whatever style you're doing or practicing with, to do a simple check like the walking under pressure might be a simple one, where you can feel if there's a better character, present functioning kind of thing in both styles. So I think that one practice could probably work. There's probably many others, but that's the one that came to me today.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are we finishing up here, people?
Sensei,
Yeah.
this is Andrew.
Yes. Okay, I knew that voice.
So when we're doing the downbeat and the upbeat, would it be possible if here, I'll start my video. Would it be possible if the eye presented some resistance, for example? Would that tend to happen?
Probably all along the way.
All along the way? Okay.
Bobby wants to hang on to Bobby. Say, be a Robert. I don't know if there is a Robert. Screw you. I ain't going to let go of Bobby. I may not exist. So we got all kinds of interruptions. That's of course.
That's normal? Okay.
Yeah. It's almost like the world doesn't screw us up. We screw ourselves up with these rules and regulations and fears and doubts and whatever. It's like, come on. Easy open. No, I've got to be careful here. I got to keep my eye on things. Well, we're shit out of luck right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got to keep my eye on. I got to make sure it's okay. You got to easy. Play the game. That's why I presented for many years. Play this game. To try to take some of this is important. I really got to keep it isn't spiritual. This is the great Nado Sensei teaching. Whoa, that's cool. Relax. It's a game. Fun around. Easy. To try to get out of some of that. I got to be careful here, or whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You work with it. You figure it out. But yeah, the fear, I don't know. The fears. I've had fears. I think everyone has fears. So I present my stories. Suddenly there's a snake pit there. Oh my God. And they're not just imaginary. I can feel them sort of pinka. And I don't like snakes. And there it is, a batch of snakes. But I'm in my meditation room. What the hell is this? Well, I hope it's okay. Easy. I allow them more to bite more. Something like that. I don't remember the exact details, but it's way back. Continue easy. And finally, someplace here real soon, those snakes aren't biting. They're sort of smiling at me as they spin by. Aha, I said, okay, here we go. Continuing. They change from snakes to energy spirals. Well, I had a sense of what energy spirals were because of my Aikido stuff. Oh, hey, this is cool. Da-da. But my fear of the snakes was there. Running into a deep dark. Holy shit, you go into a deep dark, you may never be able to come out. I may not exist. The fear is there. We talk about being warriors. Well, in my younger days, I didn't mind taking a punch, but to jump into a deep dark, oh my God. Be a warrior. Have faith, trust, gut something. Go for it. If you don't go for it, that's fine. That's your call. The real inquirers will go for it. But you do what you do. But that's going to throw you off too much, then hang on to Bobby or Robert. I'm not forcing this on anyone. If you want to jump, jump. I'll help you with the jump. I'll tell some of the stories about descriptions of the jump or the movement. And of course there's fears. Of course there's not knowing. But over and over and over again, I'm in a space of not knowing. I hang out easy. It begins to unfold. There is something there. It looked empty. But okay, in this empty space, what's going on? And begins to unfold. And it may show the space of a self or the space of energy beats inequality form or God knows what. Play the game, trust, have faith, be gutsy. Yeah. But I'll tell you, there's more than once where I didn't know if what I was getting into in my meditation, I was going to die. Really, it was a strong feeling. A little scary. But I'm crazy or gutsy or something. So I continued. Do the best you can, I guess is all we can say here.
Amen.
And
Okay.
with all the anxieties and panic that's rampant out there, with the tight little eyes, many people don't allow themselves to feel and explore the fuller story of what's there. They just stop at that, like you said, there's the snakes, and I don't like it, but there's more to the story, and we can settle in.
So, we try to explain things like, as you settle into more energy, didn't even know what energy is yet, huh? But you settle into more energy, there might be an anxiety feeling. That's the energy. Now hang in there. But like, no, I don't want to feel anxiety. Well, it's only temporary. When it first starts to pass through, show its presence. Yeah. Another level will show emotionality at that level. I don't want to do this because I get sad and I get teary-eyed. It's like, yeah. Let's continue. And you get past that level into the next finer level kind of thing. So we try to, in mapping, lay some of these things out, but the individual still has to sit with the anxiety or what the hell ever, the snakes or whatever is there. You got to do that.
For some, their panic can be like dying, and they'll go to the hospital. They'll go to the emergency room. It's that bad.
And I wanted to say something before I remember now. So I'm surmising that the yoga types that you're suddenly being bombarded with, that quite likely in either case, it's not enough character there. That would be an easy piece to miss for the meditators. Nice, finer dimensional level. It's beautiful, or it's serene, or it's calm, or whatever, or it's self experiencing itself to some degree. Whoa, this is fantastic. But there's an important piece that should have a turn someplace in here. Maybe not this moment, but maybe tomorrow. Anyway, the piece of the character, the core energy character I am, the Bobby, the Robert Nadeau, and then the continuation, it gets finer and finer and finer. Eventually we'll talk about archetypes and stuff. Has to be recognized as an important piece. So I was just putting this out again, that the center types can miss it because as they move into finer, they may go, oh, thank God, I moved out of the heavier into the finer. And I say, yeah, but what about this piece hasn't had a turn? And I think they misunderstand, think, well, if I do that piece, I'm going to lose self, I'm going to lose this. And like, they haven't lost shit. It's just this turn, this piece wants, that's all. And you're still in the realm of selves and space and beautiful qualities and stuff. I don't know how to say it better. But again, it's a little misunderstanding. Why doesn't someone give character a turn? Well, that's one reason. One reason. after feeling the expanse of the harmony, the hum of things is beautiful, to feel, because when you first start, you feel the character a little more, I don't know, maybe a Bobby level. Okay. But if you continue the beats, then Bobby quickly moves into a Robert level in the terrain that you're in, and finer and finer. And there's a relationship between the center and the circle, potted plant theory, where whatever, the better you allow the nutrients, the better the plant sucks them up and is that quality. Okay. If your potted plant is just beauty, there is a central character plant that will become beautiful. And you continue that be more beautiful, and the character plant is more beautiful, experienced. Okay. Some ugly people glow beautiful. You're aware of that, aren't you? In fact, if you think we have words for it, where outwardly they're not good looking, but there's something beautiful there. I forget the phrasing. Noah, do you know the phrasing on that?
Well, people glow with an
Inner beauty?
People
I'm sorry.
glow with an inner beauty.
Inner beauty, yeah. They say, well, the outside ain't much, but they're beautiful people. It sounds like a contradiction in terms, but it's this inner beauty of the plant cord that's radiating a bit. And that's what people are talking about. No? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you, Sensei. And
Thank you.
Thank you for a very
Good
lovely
session.
evening. Everybody, we're back on Friday, 16th.
And if you'd like to continue with donations, they're happily accepted. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, and have a good evening and a lovely weekend.
Thank you,
Lauren,
Sensei.
thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Sensei.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Sensei.
everyone.
Thank you, Sensei. Thank you, Lauren.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Bob.
everyone.
And Kenny.
Thanks, everyone.
Good to see you, Danny.